welcome to the Totally Online Gaming Group YouTube channel. We're glad you guys could join us. I'm Jason, and I want to help you Dungeon Masters learn how to actually use the stuff in Talespire to really make an impact in your campaign. But first, subscribe to the channel and write in the comments below, subscribed, and I'll do my best to get back to each and every one of you in the comments. Alright, so this is a short multi-part series that I'm doing where I'm focusing on not how to use all the tools that are available in Talespire, but using those tools in a way that is going to help improve actually running games in Talespire. I've kind of learned the hard way on some of this because of running games online basically since Talespire Beta came out, and using Talespire to run those games. Learn some things, what to do, what not to do, and I want to share that with you guys so that your games can, you know, have more of a pop and be more cinematic and dramatic to your players, making it more fun, at least in my opinion. So in the first episode, we covered some things about what to do to kind of set up your boards ahead of time. Second episode, we covered a little bit about using hide volumes for your use so that you can see everything a little better, and other methods to do that so you can see things better. In this episode, we're going to cover using some of the stats and things that are available in Talespire as trackers for your miniatures that you're using. Your bad guys, you can even set it up for the players, making them unique characters and setting up their miniatures with that stuff. But what we're going to look at is setting up a goblin with his stats according to the stuff that's available here in this wheel. That way you can, you know, have some of the basic stats readily available. Now, before we can have his stats, we got to have his stat block. So here you go. Here's the goblin stat block. And we've got things on there like AC 15, 7 hit points, all that kind of stuff. And we want to transfer some of the important stuff over to this guy here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on him. And you'll notice, first off, on our wheel of choices, one of them right here says hit points. Okay. Well, it's got an upper number and a lower number. And I'm just going to type that set of hit points, whatever hit points the stat block or I, as the DM, decide to give this guy in there. So his max would be down here, and then the current is there. And then you can use the little wheel here, the little button here to kind of scroll around to add or subtract as needed to their hit points. The other option is right here, this little scroll that you click on for stats. Excuse me. And you've got 8 stat bubbles to work with. Now mine are already kind of named a bit here. As you can see, I've got things like spell attack, AC. They don't come like that originally. Originally they'll say stat and the number of the bubble. So stat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. You can change the names of these by coming over to that campaign and board settings button on the upper left corner. It's kind of hidden behind my my window here, but it's the second one down from the top. It says campaign and board settings. You click on that and you get the matching colors of all these little stat bubbles, and you can type in the name you want. So like for stat 5 here, I'm going to change that to hello everyone, and there it is. So you can see how that changes, and that changes for all of the creatures. This isn't just for this guy, it is for everybody. So I personally like to pick things that are going to be, you know, generic information that most, if not all, creatures will use. For example, I'm going to use spellcasters when I do miniatures. So I'm going to have creatures and spellcasters, NPCs, whatever, that are going to have a spell attack and a spell save DC. So I want to keep those in there. I'm going to have armor class. That's important. Speed. That's good to know. Okay. Things like maybe their melee and ranged attack modifiers. Melee damage. Okay. Well, wait a minute. 5 damage. Well, that's not exactly what the stat block says. It's actually a die of damage plus an amount, right? Well, guess what? I can't type letters in there. I do that and it just goes away. So you got to keep in mind, if you as a DM are using this to help track a creature and their stats, This, I would put like the average damage that's listed in the stat block on there, just so you kind of have an idea, and then I'd usually just use that. Okay? It just makes things a little easier. But this is only one way to keep track of stats. In a next video, we're going to talk about different ways to keep track of stats, some cool plugins you can use, and, a couple extra tools. Okay? But this is just a way to do it. And one last thing I want to mention about this is you'll notice like spell attack. Okay? Well, let's say I've got a spellcaster that has a spell attack of 7. Well, the lower number, I'm going to put that as what their base normal spell attack is going to be. The upper number, I'll put what is current, because you can have magic items or effects or things that are temporary that pop up that can increase or decrease certain stats like spell attack or armor class or speed or whatever on a character. So like Goblin, they got a speed of 30. That's their normal speed, so I just put in a speed of 30. Okay. Currently this guy's sitting at a speed of 30. So he's all good. He's at his normal speed. Oh, but what if someone casts, one of his buddies maybe as a spellcaster and casts Expeditious Retreat on him? Well, that's going to go up, So I'm going to, okay, let's increase his speed. What is it, like plus 10 feet? So temporarily, he's got a 40. Okay, so you can do things like that if you so desire. So this is just kind of a way to track some of the stats and keep them going so that you've got everything you want. All right there on the creature. Now, the good news is this is a decent way to just have the stats handy without having all the stat sheets open while you're playing the game. You can just go, okay, so the party attacked this guy. Well, what's his armor class? Right click, go to the stats. Oh, that's his AC. Okay. Bad news is, let's hop over to this guy here and open up his stats. Da-da-da! Oh, everything is like back to default. Okay, the names are the same because those transfer over. Those are across everybody. But the numbers are the default numbers that occur. So you'll have to change each and every one of these guys to to get their stats changed up. But it is a helpful tool when you're trying to track creatures and you just want to know, well, how many hit points does this guy have? How many, what's his AC? What's his speed? That kind of stuff. Lastly, if you're using this method, let's say I'm going to roll a dice to attack. So I come here, I grab this dice, I roll it, and oh, it went off the screen. And he got a 4. Well, he's probably not going to hit anything with that 4. But I can still go to his stats and say, oh, well, he was doing a melee attack, and that's a 4. So, all right, so he got an 8 total. Okay, so I could just get that information there. I have to add in there because as of right now, Talespire does not have a way using these dice to add in modifiers. Now, when we look in the next episode, we're going to be looking at some plugins and some other cool stuff where you can actually kind of do some of this stuff and track it in a different way. Okay, it doesn't really track everything, but I can use a combination of the stats here and tracking it on a character sheet. This is a plugin. This isn't official, but it works and it's pretty cool, and we'll check that out. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel and write subscribed in the comments below, and that way I know that you're there and I can comment to each and every one of you as best to my ability to welcome you to the channel. All right, that's it for this one. Later, everybody.